What a day we had yesterday with the NFL free agency. Now, we know it's chaos as we record these podcasts in the morning, expecting things to happen throughout the course of the day. And right out of the gate, we had the Jets with a big trade with Minkah Fitzpatrick. You know, the thing, and we'll get into all the moves that they made and what they should still do. And to me, it's still about the quarterback. That's the number one priority. And I can't even believe some of the stuff that I'm hearing as it pertains to the Jets and the quarterback. But I thought a great day for the Giants and a good day for the Jets, an okay day for the Jets. Forget about who's coming and going, overall with people, the players that they lost or players that they wanted that they didn't get. Let's just focus on what actually happened. So starting with the Fitzpatrick trade, see, ideally for me, the Jets need to be focused on building a culture, a winning culture. I know everybody, I actually hate that term, culture. Like, what does that mean, culture? Okay. But the Jets need to establish, maybe I'll change it up, establish a foundation of success. And the way you do that with a team that doesn't have a ton of talent, that has a lot of draft picks, obviously it's going to be through that does have a lot of draft picks, was what I meant to say. It doesn't have a lot of talent locked up, a ton of draft picks, they're going to be building through the draft. That's the way you do that. And you supplement it and complement it with some solid moves in free agency. They may not be the sexiest, may not be the biggest names, but that's kind of what the Jets are doing. I guess the only question that I have is that, and I like that myself, but yesterday when we were talking about the Jets can't go get Geno Smith, I mean, my God, what are we doing? Or Derek Carr, they can't do that. The comments from fans or Badabooms, who we'll get to in a minute here, the pushback is, well, the Jets just want to lose and put themselves in a position to get Arch Manning next year, or basically just go out there and tank and try to have the top pick as best you can next year. Well, that doesn't go in line with the other moves. And by the way, it's not just Badabooms or some of the comments. There are some reports that are saying the same thing. Like the Jets, the idea this year is they're going to just play it slow and whatever it may be. No, that can't happen. Not that I expect them to go compete legitimately for a playoff spot, but aren't you sick and tired of watching crap football every Sunday? Like, aren't you sick and tired of it? And now, see, it used to be, and this is where the real problem is going to come for the Jets. It used to be that it was both the Jets and the Giants. It was equal footing. I know they're not the biggest of rivals. It's not like a Mets, Yankees, or Rangers, Islanders, whatever. Still, it was always the Jets and Giants both suck. The Jets and Giants both can't get out of the first 2 weeks of the season and play some meaningful football beyond October or even into Halloween, whatever it may be. And now the Giants went out there in the offseason and hired a legitimate head coach. Unquestioned, the best head coach on the market. They got him. I'm shocked that he wanted the Giants, but he did. And now you're seeing the immediate dividends already. Who knows what the results are actually going to be on the field, but to me, it projects well. They could be a playoff team. Maybe they're a borderline playoff team. They're going to be significantly better and more competitive than they have been in a long time. And even the moves that they're making show you that yesterday. We said it before the move started to happen, that you knew it was going to happen. Now they're starting to happen, and there's more to come. Now, the Jets are going to be left in the dust as the team that's not going to be competitive again next year. That's got to change. I'm sorry, but even though year one with Aaron Glenn was kind of like, oh, what a disaster, the expectation going in was that the Jets were going to compete in some of these football games, that they had some talent on defense, that Justin Fields coming in on offense with the weapons that they have on offense, Garrett Wilson, Breece Hall, the Jets are supposed to compete. And it was a freaking disaster by every stretch of the imagination. Like, you look at how bad that season was, so bad, in fact, that it forced Jeff fans and some media members to change the expectation of what they were supposed to be. Instead of, hey, this team could compete, maybe win 8-9 games if everything goes right, it was, well, it's year one, a total rebuild. And then obviously in season, they trade away Sauce Gardner. They make it all these big moves. So with the Jets, Quentin Williams, obviously all the big moves they make. With the Jets, it turned from, well, they should be competitive in the first year with Glenn and show some signs, and Glenn himself said it, to total dismantling of the team, which was the right move, and total rebuild. But that doesn't mean that year two, with all the draft picks that they have, with all the cap space that they have, that they can't be competitive the way that they thought they were supposed to be a year ago. That should be the goal. Worry about the future of the quarterback position later. You can't go into a season worrying about next draft when so many things can happen? Who knows if Arch Manning is even any good? A. B, are you going to have the first pick even if you are an awful team? C, if you do have the first pick, is he going to come in? Like, too many variables for that. You can't worry about that. Muji has done the right thing as far as putting his team in a position to strike if they needed to trade up with the draft picks. Also, being able to select a bunch of players that he and Glenn want to bring into their culture. But make no mistake about it, it should be about winning some football games this year. So back to the Fitzpatrick thing, that's a move that would indicate that they're serious about trying to win now. Again, not at the highest of levels, not that they're going to be competing for the AFC East crown, because they're not, but that's a move that you say, okay, they bring in a veteran safety, the only, and you're going to pay him. The only reason why they do that is because they're going to try to win some football games, and that should be the primary goal, not tank for Arch Manning or whatever the saying is going to be. That's absurd talk. Now, that leads me to the big point. Like, the other names. I mean, bring in some defensive tackle. DeMario Davis, bringing him back. Nice move. He was very good with the Saints. Obviously, you remember him. Okay, so they re-signed Beck, the fullback here, so they don't lose him. Who else do they bring in here, Badabooms, that you have up on top of the list?
Kingsley Eningbare. He's a defensive end coming from Green Bay, a draft out of
you
Arkansas.
like that move? Yeah, the pass rusher from Green Bay. Okay, I mean, all right, so they bring
Osai from Cincinnati,
right?
Originally out of Texas.
A defensive tackle, Onamata from the Falcons, bringing in. Yeah, I mean, okay, so they brought in a bunch of different players, as they need to bring in a bunch of different players. So my question is, that's great. Like, those pieces are nice. What are they going to do at quarterback? Because that was the main issue last year. And we went from yesterday talking about, I want Kyler Murray. If not Kyler Murray, Malik Willis. If not Malik Willis, Tua Tagovailoa. Well, two of the top three that I would want to bring in, they are off the board. Malik Willis going to Miami. He gets his money following his former coach or whatever in Green Bay. They go down to Miami. He's going to be the guy there. Tua signs on with the Falcons. Who knows if he's going to be a backup or potentially start, whether Penix is ready or not, whatever. Solid signing for them. And that leaves Kyler Murray, who, the reports are saying that he would prefer to play for the Vikings, or I think I saw one with the Colts. I'm still not sold on that, but that's got to be the guy for the Jets, because if not, the names you keep hearing, Geno's, like, this was an actual report from Connor Hughes of SNY, who knows what he's talking about, that the Jets, their ideal quarterback, this is his words, not mine, their ideal quarterback room, Geno Smith and Carson Wentz, at least one of the two. What? Who's watching these games that actually thinks Geno Smith is a good idea and Carson Wentz is beyond finished? Like, you want to tell me you want to have Wentz in the room because you think he's a veteran, because Frank Reich likes him? Like, guys, what are we doing here? What the hell are we doing here? Geno Smith is horrible. He threw the most interceptions in the league. Like, if you like quarterback play, you think Justin Fields was bad? Geno Smith takes a ton of sacks. A couple of years ago, he had the most sacks in the league. Most sacks in the league, most interceptions in the league. He is horrible. I know he had a couple of decent years, maybe 2 good years in his career, Geno Smith with Seattle. Maybe. And that was more like, how the hell did that happen? As opposed to, wow, he turned the corner. Not to mention the tie-ins with what he did here before. Like, I'm not going to go nuts about this every single day until they either sign him or don't, but it can't be Geno Smith. That's a disaster waiting to happen. I can't watch it. You guys want to watch Geno Smith again every week? I mean, Mike, come on. They need a real quarterback. I say this dead, like, sometimes we exaggerate for effect. I would legitimately rather have Justin Fields going in a year 2 than I would watch Geno Smith or Carson Wentz for that matter. You know what? I'm wrong about Derek Carr. I take it back already. I'll take Derek Carr. Anybody but Geno Smith. If it means Derek Carr coming back out of retirement, even though I know he's not good, I'd rather have him than Geno Smith by far. But those aren't good options. The Jets need a quarterback. They got to figure out a way to find one. A better one than what they had a year ago, which shouldn't be that hard, and a better one than Carson Wentz or Geno Smith. That also shouldn't be that hard. Now, part of the issue that they're going to have too is that some guys may not want them. I don't know the legitimate interest. I know there's been some stuff rolling around on social media. I'm not buying, unless it comes from one of the reputable reporters. This is where people are trolling or they're having parody accounts, so I can't get caught up in that. I don't know, and maybe we'll learn soon the legitimacy of interest, if the Jets had any interest in Malik Willis. But let's say that they did. Do you think Malik Willis had interest in the Jets? Probably not. Same thing with Tua. Like, I would get on the Jets for saying, how can you not have any interest in Tua whatsoever? Maybe they did, but maybe he wanted no part of them and he goes to a better situation for him. Same thing with Kyler Murray. How could the Jets not go all in for Kyler Murray? Well, maybe they do. Maybe they're trying to, but maybe ultimately he wants to go somewhere else. That's something that you really can't fault Muji and Glenn on. That's more of a Woody thing, that the built-in inherited culture for years is just not good enough, and the situation that they're in is not good enough. It's why we praise Rodgers so much, because he was a guy that wanted to come to the Jets, where most guys run the other way. Oh, it's not a good enough opportunity. I'm not going to go there and try to be the savior. They got nothing around me, blah, 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 blah. So there's twofold here. One, are the Jets focused on bringing in the right people? Two, are those right people willing to come here? We'll see. But it can't be the answer, and it's starting to point this way. It can't be Geno Smith and or Carson Wentz. I don't want either of them in the quarterback room. The Jets want both. The best signing made yesterday was by the Giants. And it may not be sexy, but this is what wins football games. And that's what we alluded to yesterday when you're talking about building a team the right way and trusting John Harbaugh to build the team the right way and try to go out there and make this team more competitive to win games. They added some nice pieces, some depth pieces, whatever, but Jordan Stout, by far the best signing of the day yesterday. People always get caught up in wide receiver. People get caught up in running back, obviously quarterback, edge rusher, the sexy spots, even cornerback. But nobody talks about going into the offseason, or very few people talk about it going into the free agent season. Hey, let's go lock down the best punter. That's exactly what needs to be done to help you win football games. The Giants got the best punter in the league in Jordan Stout. So, Harbaugh, who's a special teams guy, that's how he started with Philadelphia. You knew he was going to value that. The Giants' special teams have been a freaking disaster forever. Now they try to shore that up, and they're going to, not even try, they're going to shore that up because Harbaugh won't accept anything less. So they put an emphasis on that. They go out there and spend and get the best punter in the league in Jordan Stout. To me, that was the best move of the day yesterday, certainly when you tie in both local teams here. But it wasn't just that. They made some nice moves as well. Isaiah Likely, he's a guy that would pop last year if you watch the Ravens or even fantasy football. Likely has great potential. He was playing with Mark Andrews as well as tight end. So maybe didn't get as many, wasn't the singular focal point that he could become here with the Giants, with Jackson Dart throwing the ball. But Isaiah Likely's talent and skill set jump off the screen at you if you watch the Ravens at all last year. Tremaine Edmonds, bring him in. All right, whatever. Bring Hodgins back. And Illuminor, bringing him back, that was a solid move for the Giants, keeping that O-line intact. Illuminor has been, he's been a solid player for them on that offensive line. It just shows you that the Giants are headed in the right direction. I'm not trying to say that the Jets aren't. The Jets have further ways to go after what they did last year, starting the full rebuild, and they don't have the quarterback in place, and they don't have a head coach that is known like Harbaugh. So that's the big difference. But just the smart moves that the Giants have made now under Harbaugh, to me, you have to love it. Starting with the punter, the fact that they get the best punter in the league in Stout, to me, that's great. Badabooms, what are you thinking? Because I wanted to get to this with you off of our conversation from yesterday, where you were talking about tank for Arch or whatever the words you used exactly. Then shortly after we finished up recording the podcast, they go out there and they add Minkah Fitzpatrick, who, I love him as a player, and I love that type of player and that veteran, the attitude, all that stuff. But that goes opposite of what you're saying as far as this team just being bad to go get the quarterback next year, which I think is just a foolish logic.